I had a fair idea what Kristin Tate might think when I asked her whether the president was right.
Yes, I definitely agree with Trump, and so do so many Americans. I couldn't believe this halftime show. It was just a huge middle finger from the NFL to its own audience. I mean, who watches the NFL? The primary audience is like middle-aged to older men who are Americans. They just want to relax with a beer and watch the game. The NFL decided to broadcast their halftime show during the biggest sporting event of the year in a language that almost none of their audience can understand, while waving flags from countries that none of their audience are from. And the whole thing was in Spanish. There were no subtitles provided, which made the whole thing even more strange to watch. Although I have to say, Chris, if they did provide subtitles and people saw the lyrics, they would see how vulgar these lyrics were. I couldn't believe it. It was just slop. I mean, very obscene lyrics. I'll just leave it at that. But yeah, the entire thing was kind of just this weird homage by Bad Bunny to, I guess, illegal immigration, and he kind of tried to stick it to ICE. It was very political, and a lot of the audience of the NFL was turned off by it.
Too much politics in sport as ever. Now, of course, the game was played in California, where there's a fair bit of Spanish around, but the two teams were from Seattle, of course, the victors, and your mob, sorry to remind you, the New England Patriots. Not a lot of Spanish up your way.
Yeah, exactly. It was very political and off-putting. And I mean, if you saw, there were some interesting shots I saw on Twitter of the audience during the game watching this. And again, this was in California. I guess a lot of these people were probably from California. And it was a very flat response. Very few people dancing. It was just, people were very confused by the whole thing. It's a very odd Super Bowl performance, the most strange one I've ever seen.
Yeah, well, it was also predictable, of course, that Turning Point USA, they put on, obviously organised this beforehand, an alternative halftime show. Have a look at that.
Welcome to the Turning Point USA All-American Halftime Show. And this one's for you, Charlie.
Now, I've got to say, Kristin, I didn't see either of them. Give us your assessment of the Turning Point halftime show and the difference in the political outlook, if you like.
Well, the Turning Point halftime show gained millions of viewers, mostly people kind of just protesting the NFL and tuning into something alternative. Kid Rock sang, and then there were some other kind of generic country singers. I saw it. I thought it was a little bit boring, to be honest, but it was a lot more pro-America, and there was not this overt anti-American messaging that we saw during the NFL's halftime show. So even if people aren't into country music, it's not really my thing. I think many people tuned in just to show their distaste for the NFL and make a point.
I got to tell you, when I'm watching a game of footy and it's halftime, I don't want any entertainment. I want to either go and get a beer and something to eat and either calm my nerves or steel myself for a big fight back. We shall see. But politics is everywhere in sport, and it's so tragic because most of us enjoy our sport to escape from politics.
Exactly.
I just want to get your thoughts on the latest stats when it comes to the president and the media. 500 press interactions, they say, have been chalked up by Donald Trump, about double what Joe Biden had engaged in a similar period. I think it's even worse than that, isn't it? Because Joe Biden used to just sort of turn up for picture opportunities and people could film him falling off his bike or whatever. What the difference with Donald Trump is there's so many press conferences, so many opportunities for the journalists to actually ask questions.
Yeah, this is really a very transparent administration, very interactive with the press. As we remember with Joe Biden, the strategy there was kind of to let that press secretary handle all the questions and then hope that there were no follow-ups that escaped containment. It was a very kind of secretive administration. And now we know that's because the president of the United States was dealing with some major health battles. I mean, I think he really wasn't involved, the president of the United States and many of the decisions that his administration was making day to day. But yeah, Trump is just, he loves this. He's a media guy. This is sort of what he's made to do. And people love it. That's part of the allure of the Trump administration. Love him or hate him. It's just a show. You can't stop watching these press conferences.
For sure. And like him or lump him, you just got to love the transparency. They should be out there.
Exactly.
There should be more of it from all of them. Thanks for joining us, Kristin. Catch you next week. Sorry about those Patriots.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you.